40. 40.
Full speed coming off screens. Ooh. Oh no.
Oh my God. The Wizards have the chance to do the funniest thing ever and beat the Miami Heat. Carrington for the win. Oh my God. Bro, that's insane. How's that for a game 82, everybody? Listen, in a season that has been wildly mediocre and utterly uninteresting, the Miami Heat have somehow delivered the most hilarious ending to a regular season in franchise history as they once again blow another lead and they get gamed at the buzzer off a wild shot from Bub Carrington, who I actually think is going to be a great player in this league one day. Skilled scorer, very young, so shout out to him. I do feel good for the kid. But you've got gamed this year by John Morant on a shot that bounced on the rim 10 times. You got gamed by Cade Cunningham damn near at the buzzer off a banked-in wild three. And now you get gamed by Bub Carrington off a whoopsie doodle twirly behind the back off the backboard hit the ground shot. You can't make this type of stuff up. I don't even know what to call that shot that he just did. A wild running floater circus shot at the buzzer to just spoil what was a really fun night overall. And I don't even want to say spoil because shout out to Jaime Jaquez Jr., the guy who was and still is. I think I'm going to make him the main point of this video because he dropped a 40 bomb today. 41 to be exact. Actually tied Tyler Hero's career high, which is insane. But he was awesome today. So I don't want to let that wild game winner ruin or spoil what Jaime Jaquez did tonight, because I have been waiting all season to bring another Jaime Jaquez Jr. to y'all. I told y'all all year that yes, he's been terrible. It's been a wildly disappointing season for him, but I have never lost hope in him. Now, I don't think he'll be a 41 point per game scorer. I don't think this game necessarily turned around his career or anything, but I've been saying that I still think he has the confidence and skill to be a great player in this league at one point. He just needs to develop his jump shot to open up all that stuff in the paint. Because as you saw today, he is unstoppable when he has his head down and he's getting to the rim. He's just such a crafty finisher. He was dunking the ball with both hands today. He was using that footwork because y'all know I got a foot fetish for the footwork of Jaime Jaquez Jr. Or maybe you don't know that because we haven't got a lot of chance to say that this season. But last season, that was a staple of the channel, talking about the footwork of Jaime Jaquez. Y'all see over here, this was supposed to be my retirement plan. It's a signed picture of Jaime Jaquez. I went to his autograph signing in the Dadeland Mall last year, and I joke about the autograph or my retirement because if he makes the Hall of Fame one day, I can maybe sell that for a pretty penny. Obviously, we're just joking, but that is something that I proudly displayed all of last season. And there's points this year I was debating taking it down. Now, that's hypocritical because I still got the Jimmy Butler signed jersey up here. That'll stay forever. But the Jaime one will stay too, because it's nights like tonight where you truly see that he's special. Now, yes, I know nobody played for the Wizards. I know the Miami Heat had everybody sitting out as well. But what are you supposed to do when you're playing against bums? You're supposed to stand out. And that's what Jaime Jaquez did tonight. Terry Rozier played just as many minutes. He didn't stand out. He shot 1 for 9 because he sucks just like we always knew. Now, I did put a tweet out that I'm curious what y'all think too. At what point do we start collectively feeling bad for Terry Rozier? Now, my boy Amir of Team to Beat Miami Heat, shout out to him. He said never, because he's out there gooning with the IG models and making $25 million a year, so we should never feel sorry for him. That's a great point. But just from a basketball perspective, I'm sure a lot of y'all watching this video hoop like myself, and sometimes you get in a rut, you get in a shooting slump, and it just sucks because there's no rhyme or reason to it. Now, I've never been in a shooting slump like Terry Rozier. He's going on, like a 7-month shooting slump? It's been all season. But you start to feel bad because he's trying out there. I genuinely think Terry Rozier is trying, but he just can't hit a shot. But whatever, he sucks. Jaime Jaquez is awesome. So I want to shout out to him for how amazing he was today, truly looking unstoppable all throughout the game. So we'll get into some of my notes from this game. Obviously, nothing changed in the standings with regards to the East, but we'll get into some of the lottery odds and all that stuff throughout this video. And we'll have some more content tomorrow and Tuesday because the playing game is officially set for Wednesday. So it's going to be a good one. But that being said, let's get into game 82. If y'all been here since the start of the season, I greatly appreciate you. If this is your first season here, then welcome. I appreciate y'all sticking along. Make sure to like the video and subscribe because I am grinding to maybe do this full time one day. This is my 4th full season covering the Miami Heat. Crazy to think that I've been doing it for that long, but it's also short in the grand scheme of things because, like I said, I plan to be here for a long time. So I do appreciate all of you. And if you could drop a subscription, it would mean a lot to me. All right, y'all. We have no idea how much longer this Heat season is gonna last. And more likely than not, it's going to end a lot sooner than we all hoped. So let's not sleep on all the great sports that's going on right now, including the Masters, which are back this weekend. And what better way to cash in than with MyBookie? You can do live betting. You could bet outrights. You could bet matchups. You could bet long shot money bombs with MyBookie's money bag. If there's an edge, you'll find it here. And not to mention that this weekend also coincides with UFC 314. So if you're new to MyBookie, I got something that you're definitely going to want to take advantage of. Deposit any amount between $50 and $2,000 and get instantly half matched using my promo code MM50. That's MM50. And by the way, you don't even need to bet to receive it. You just get the bonus cash right away, which is actually really awesome. So if you got a good feeling about Augusta or want to take advantage of a Michael Chandler boost in UFC 314, now is the time to fire. So bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. Now, let's get back into the video. Getting into the game, though, it would start with a Davion Mitchell steal and score. And to think that the Heat were potentially going to cut this guy to save some tax dollars at the end of the season would have been ridiculous. Of course, he's going to be a restricted free agent. We'll see what the market's like for him. I'm cool giving him like up to 10 million most. I think 12 might be a little bit of an overpay. Maybe you could talk me into it, but anything more than 12, as much as I love Davion, I just think that's an overpay. Listen, the Heat, all the time they fall in love with these guys and then they overpay them, and it ends up like making it very difficult, I guess, for them to build a team when they have money tied into guys that aren't truly difference makers. Now, this year, Davion, you could say, was a difference maker, but he hasn't shown that consistently throughout his career, so I don't think you can pay him off a second half of the season great turning point, because you have to see consistent success in order to justify paying a guy big money. But that being said, I'm cool giving him 8 to 10, I'll say, but we'll see what happens to him. He had Khalil Ware also come out with a hot start. He's another guy you wanted to see dominate today. Kind of saw that from the jump. Didn't play too many minutes. Played maybe a few minutes early on. Started the third quarter. Then didn't play too much after that. Had this one play where he caught a lob and dunked it, where his head hit the backboard. Something that I'll never have to worry about. But that just goes to show his freak athleticism. And I will post a video, I think either tomorrow or the next day, reacting to my early or my preseason Miami Heat takes, predictions, all that sort of stuff. And I'll do another one reacting to my general NBA predictions. But some of my NBA predictions, of course, I made was regarding Khalil Ware. So we'll get into that. And I liked him when the Heat drafted him. I never thought he was going to be as good or as impactful right away as he has been this season. So, spoiler alert, that's one of the things that I got wrong is Khalil Ware, truthfully, was way better than I could have expected right away. And he'd absolutely hit a home run with him. There's no two ways about it. He's a fun player to watch. Then Terry Rozier checked in. I was hoping maybe he could have one of those games where, okay, a get-right game. You always know game 82 of the regular season, you get some fun performances. You had Oladipo score 40 points a couple years back. You had Michael Beasley drop almost 40 like 7 years ago. You know, you get some fun performances. I was hoping Terry could have a get-right game. So he checks in and immediately has a turnover, bobbles a ball because he can't catch. He has bricks for hands, I guess. Next possession does a wild spinning layup off no ball movement, just sprinting and transition, throws the ball off the backboard. That's why I have no hope in him, because truthfully, his IQ is terrible. Where I think a guy like Jaime Jaquez actually has some good IQ. He just kind of needs to get that shot down and truthfully get an opportunity as well, because he really wasn't a part of the offense this season. But we did see some fun things regarding Jaime Jaquez and Khalil Ware early on. You had a Jaime outlet pass to Ware, who dunked it. Then a Khalil Ware excellent dime to a cutting Jaime Jaquez from the dunker spot. So nice to see those two rookies work together, because if the Heat don't decide to go for a whale this offseason, the reality is this is our future. it's Nikola Jovic. Hopefully he can return at some point with the hand. I was hoping he'd be ready for the play-in. Spo's not going to throw him in there now. I think he trusts Kyle Anderson too much, so Anderson will likely get those minutes versus the Chicago Bulls in the play-in. But you got Jovic, who was decent this season. Jaime Jaquez, hopefully this game is a sign of things to come. Obviously, Khalil Ware is amazing. Then you got Bam and Tyler, who I think overall had some really excellent seasons. So it's nice to see the young guys start to work their way in. The Heat were up 2 after the first quarter. Going into the second quarter, right away it begins with a Terry Rozier missed wide open reverse layup. Wide open. Reverse hits the bottom of the rim like a 5-year-old. He's terrible. Kashad Johnson hit a couple of threes, though, and y'all know that's my guy. I have a running tweet thread where every time he does something good, I quote tweet it and say, price just went up for Kashad Johnson stock. I'm going to have to get back on Twitter and do that after this video, because every time he gets an opportunity to shine, he truly shows how special he can be. I commented, or I might have said in last video that he'll be a star one day. Not a star, but he'll be a very good starter in this league for a long time. I truthfully believe that that's his potential. And you see what he did tonight, hit a couple of three-pointers. Excellent isolation defense. He's a switchable defender. All hustle, all hard. Had a few plays with just some sensational rebounds because he really has all-world athleticism, and he uses that along with his hustle to get these rebounds, get these putbacks. I just think he's a versatile player on both ends of the ball and can be the type of 3-and-D player that every championship team will be desperate to have. I really think that's his potential. He was awesome today. Jaime Jaquez had 19 points in the first half. Obviously was even better in the second half. Came into that third quarter guns blazing. Had 37 points with about 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. That's when I'm thinking, let Jaime shoot every time. Let him gun for 40. But then Terry Rozier said, no. Let me get in there and make it about me. As Terry Rozier drove into a crowded paint, got absolutely packed on a layup. Next possession has a wide open three. It's an awful brick, not even close. Oh my God, he's just, what a frustrating player to watch. In game 82, we're still talking about this. But then, of course, Jaime Jaquez would finally get to the line, hit a couple of free throws for the lead. Kashad Johnson would have another big play where he would get like an and one off a blocking call to actually give the Heat the lead again with like a minute to go. And then, of course, we had the Bub Carrington game winner, which y'all saw at the beginning of this video. And that, truthfully, did not upset me too much, because if you look at the lottery odds for today, the only thing that could have changed standings-wise, obviously in the East, everything was set. But for the overall standings in terms of draft position, the only thing that could have changed is the Heat and the Phoenix Suns, because the Suns currently have 45 losses and the Heat also have 45. So if the Suns were to win today, we would have a same record. And then there's like a separate tiebreaker, or I think it's actually I think the Heat and Suns actually split the odds. I don't know. Either way, how it works is if the Suns lose today, the Heat actually get some better odds going into the draft lottery. And I'll take every percentage that we can get to help us get Cooper Flag or top 4 pick, because as it stands right now, the Heat have the 11th best odds with a 9.4% chance at the top pick and a 2% chance at the number 1 overall pick. Now, of course, all of that can be a moot point if they win the play-in, which is kind of what I want to get into now. Now, maybe I'll do another video previewing the play-in within the next day or two. I'll see. I don't really like doing game previews or dedicated videos to that because they're irrelevant, like within a day, I suppose. But I do think that the Heat ultimately end up getting into the postseason. I just think that they're better than the Bulls and better than the Magic/Hawks. Crazy thing to say, considering the Heat haven't beat the Bulls this year, and we've lost to the Magic and Hawks as well. But I just think on paper, they're still better. And they always seem to find a way to get out of the play-in. And they always seem to find a way to beat the Bulls in the play-in. Keep in mind, this is the 3rd straight year in which they'll beat the Bulls. Now, no Jimmy Butler this time. I think Jimmy was actually hurt last year, though, too. Yeah, Jimmy was hurt. So they didn't have Jimmy Butler last year. The year before, though, they had Max Strus. They don't have Max Strus either. So certainly got a different group of guys. Even the Bulls themselves are a much different roster. And the Heat don't match up well with them. That is the biggest concern. They have a lot of quick guards. Obviously, Kobe White's still there. But this time you got Josh Giddey, who turns into Luka Doncic every time he plays the Heat. Monis Buzelis has been a Heat killer as well. Vucevic has been a Heat killer for 15 years now. So matchup-wise, it's not great. But I just have to go with the guys who have been there before. That's Bam Adebayo. That's Tyler Hero. That's Andrew Wiggins. Those guys have been much further in their postseason careers than the Bulls. And I just have to pick them against the Bulls. So I do think the Heat ultimately end up getting in. Now, going into the box score here, though, for tonight's game, you had Hayward Highsmith, 12 points. Khalil Ware only played 19 minutes. Same with Duncan and Davion Mitchell. So Spo basically got those guys just a few minutes of run. And then Terry Rozier, 34 minutes off the bench, 1 of 9. 1 of 9 for Terry Rozier. Kyle Anderson got 28 minutes, whatever. But then the 3 guys I really want to shine light on today is first, once again, Jaime Jaquez Jr., 41 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 17 of 25 shooting. That's 68%. Hit a couple of threes today. Just how do you not feel so good for the kid? How do you not feel amazing for him, man? Just all the stuff he's went through this season to come out on top, even though they lost, but to come out on top from an individual standpoint, it just makes me so happy for the kid, man. It really does. Josh Christopher, Kashad Johnson, both those guys got about 28 minutes, so their first real substantial run this season. And while Christopher got off to a slow start, I thought he was excellent in that fourth quarter with some timely offensive and defensive plays. It had a great block. Him and Kashad actually both finished with 17 points, but Kashad shot 78%, where Josh Christopher shot 44%. But obviously, Christopher's game, he's more of a streaky guy. He'll never really be looked at to be like the efficient scorer. But yeah, I feel good for both of those guys, and it'll be interesting to see what happens going into next season. Obviously, whether the Heat win in the play-in or not, that will change a lot of things. Ultimately, though, I do end up hoping they lose to the Chicago Bulls, because I'd rather have a 3% chance at Cooper Flag than a 3% chance at beating the Cavaliers, truthfully. Because either way, I don't care about losing the protections next year, because if the Heat miss the playoffs, they get the pick this year, lose protections on the 26th pick and the 28th pick, and I don't care about that, because I'm hoping to be competitive by then. And it does force the front office to kind of make some moves to be competitive, and maybe makes them finally pick a direction, I suppose. Plus, it would guarantee that we have at least one lottery pick, which would be this year. Because if the Heat make the playoffs, okay, you keep protections on 26 and 28. And if the Heat are good, maybe none of those are lottery picks. But by missing the playoffs this year, you at least get one lottery pick, plus wherever the hell the Warriors end up being, which the Warriors themselves, they could fall into the play-in too. And if they fall in the play-in and miss the playoffs, the Heat could have 2 lottery picks this year. And in a draft that's as loaded as this, that's just not something you could pass up on. But anyways, that's really all I got to say for this video. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. I'm very curious to hear what y'all think. I'm going to have a few prediction, reaction videos coming out, as I said. Maybe a preview. We'll see what happens with the Warriors. And all off season, we'll be doing tons of draft content. So make sure y'all subscribe so you don't miss it. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out, everyone.
Look, pull up in your city, tryna get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need a head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.